Okay, so let me get this straight. We landed here on, what is it, LV 695 to stretch our legs, but someone couldn't find their jacket. So we went all the way back to Fury 161 to look for it. And now you're telling me that it's been on the ship this whole time?
Look, it's not my fault, okay? Coolerbot took it into the boiler room to sit on it like a coaster, I guess.
Otherwise, I leave water rings.
Okay, Neal, seriously? Is Coolerbot getting dumber?
You know, we probably shouldn't have put him in the microwave last week. That's just going to make things worse.
You know, thinking about it now, you're probably right, yeah. But, well, whatever. At least we're back here. So, Neal, do you mind telling the class why we came back here exactly?
Wait, I thought it was your idea to come back here.
Okay, well, since we're already here, I guess we could go grab some ice or something?
Yeah, I guess. Coolerbot could probably use the help. Welcome to Crew Expendable. I am Guy who went to bed at 5:30 a.m. and woke up at 11 a.m. Hallstrom.
And I am dead ape suit wearing soldier guy Rohrbacher.
And we are just a couple of tired boys reading alien stuff.
That's for sure. I, like you, I didn't go to bed at 5:30, but I was up real late last night, so I hear you.
It wasn't on purpose. I spent the whole day like cleaning, right? So you'd think by the end of the day I'd be tired, but I wasn't tired. I was just bitter about the fact that I spent the whole day cleaning, so I was determined to then do stuff for fun. And that was mostly playing a lot of video games.
That's also what I was doing.
I played some StarCraft. I played, of course, more Aliens Dark Descent. And then at around like 3 a.m, I was trying to go to sleep and it just wasn't happening. So I was like, you know, this is a good time to play some Evil Dead. So I played a few Evil Dead matches, and then the next thing I knew, it was like 5:30, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go to bed.
Good work.
I got podcasts to do, right? And this is one of them.
Meanwhile, I went to bed at about, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock, right around there. But I was up playing Final Fantasy 16.
Nice. Do you like it? Is it good?
I like it a lot, and it's really good, and I'm having a good time. It's a little bit different because you really only have one party member in this game. Like, you're given multiple people that travel around with you,
Sure.
but all but one of them just act automatically, and so you're controlling you, and then you can give commands to your dog sidekick, and those are the only party members you control, which I thought was an interesting choice. But
cool.
Yeah, the graphics are really good. The plot so far is interesting. I really like the combat mechanics a lot. I mean, I'm a big Final Fantasy guy. I haven't loved all of them,
Sure.
but like this one, like so far, I'm like several hours in, but I'm not that far in. But so far, I have been extremely wowed by this game.
Nice. Yeah, I've only heard good things. I'm a medium Final Fantasy guy. I've played quite a few of them, but I don't think I've played anything past 10, and I haven't even played all of 10. So,
All right.
yeah.
I've played all of them except 11.
Okay. The one that was like a PlayStation 2 online game.
Yep, that's the one. 11 and 14 are both MMOs, but I have played 14 because they had a free trial for it one time, and so I bopped around in it for a couple hours, and it's like,
Not your thing.
I just don't like MMOs, so I couldn't get into it. But yeah, like the other one, 11, I've never played because despite it coming out in like something like 2003, they've never offered the game for free at all. After 20 years, you still have to pay a monthly subscription. So I've never been able to play it.
Oh, wild.
But I've played all the rest of them, and I don't know where 16 like ranks on the list. Because like I said, I'm only a little bit of the ways into it.
Sure.
But like so far, I'm really liking it a lot, and I'm having a great time.
Have you played Stranger of Paradise?
I have.
Do you like it?
I only played it for a couple hours before I just started playing other things, but like the little bit of it that I did play, I thought was interesting because it's kind of like a side story, like background story to the first game.
Yeah, and I've played the original, and I really liked it when I played it. I have the NES version, but I played one of the modern, one of the more modern sort of updates of it, and I really dig it. Like, I liked the simplicity of it. It was a really fun game just to like grind for an hour or two and then move on to something else. But
Yeah, I really like 1 a lot. I think that game is really fun.
yeah, so I'm interested in Stranger of Paradise. I keep almost buying it.
Yeah, I bought it when it first came out, and like I said, I didn't stop playing it because I didn't enjoy it. I stopped playing it because I was in the middle of like 4 other games at the time, and so the one I just started ended up being the one that got dropped by the wayside.
Sure.
But like, it's interesting, like I don't really remember a whole lot about it as far as like the actual mechanics are concerned. I remembered having a hard time understanding combat because it's like really complicated and there's like a whole bunch of different things you have to keep track of.
Right.
But I thought the premise was really interesting and I thought the game was pretty fun, if maybe a little bit over designed. But like I said, I only ever got maybe 3 or 4 hours into it, so I'm not really super familiar with it. But yes, I do have it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I keep thinking about getting it, but like right now I'm pretty buried in Dark Descent and still getting my fire team rounds in and mixing it up with Little Evil Dead the game because I just want to play more of that before the player base sort of vanishes, which is
I got you.
which is already starting to happen, but it's a very fun game. So, anyway, we're not here to talk about those things though. We are here to talk about Alien Thaw issue 3 from Marvel Comics and 20th Century Studios. Let's get the credits up top here. This is part 3 of 5, and I figured out what my confusion was. Comixology still lists it as a 6-issue series, but everything else is pretty consistent. It's just a 5-issue series. So that confusion was just on me, everybody. So issue 3 is written by Declan Shalvey with art by Andrea Brocardo, colors by Triona Farrell, and letters by Clayton Cowles. The covers are done by Dyke Ruan and Matthew Wilson, and we've got variant covers for this issue by Sung Han Yoon and Michael Walsh. Shout out to Jay Bowen for design. I do think that these Marvel books are very well designed. Especially these pages that give you all the credits. And it's only been like a couple episodes, I think, since we covered issue 2. So I'm not sure that we're going to like really dive into the events of issues 1 and 2, just as an overall primer, right? Just an overall summation. We've got 2 Talbot Engineering scientists, Batia Zahn and her partner Dayton, who only has 1 full arm, and Batia's daughter Zasha on a research mission on the frozen moon of LV-695, where they have uncovered xenomorph species. Wayland Yutani subsequently bought Talbot Engineering and showed up with a whole bunch of ape suit troops to recover these samples. They unearthed just a shit ton of them, which went crazy and killed everybody. Locked Dayton in their ship, which is called the Boreas, because I called it the David Boreanaz.
You sure did. Now that you said that, I remember, yes.
And inside this Talbot Engineering facility called the Keg, we do have a chest burster loose, which this splash page is calling an unusually colored xenomorph. I didn't notice anything weird about the coloring in issue 2, but that is something we apparently missed.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. Cool.
Did we? We might have made a comment about just the aesthetics of it. I'm gonna flip through here to that.
I mean, I'm sure I made some comment to the effect of how I thought it was real gross looking.
We definitely commented on the color, but not as if it was anything that stood out to us, because it's just sort of like pale white, kind of like how I remember it being in the original Alien, but I'm actually thinking of Spaceballs.
Yeah, like now that you said it, I remember it was like, weird and kind of grayed out and uncolored because it had just been like woken up from being frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, it nothing that stood out to me. I just assumed it was the first chest burster that we saw in the book, so I didn't notice anything crazy. Anyway, let's jump into this thing. As a reminder, everyone, we read these comics live as we record. So grab your copy and read along. And of course, we're going to spoil the shit out of the story because we're reading it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We established we're still in year 2195. There was no time jump cut. All right. We're 2 miles away from the keg.
I do like the Talbot Engineering logo.
Yeah. It's all over all these partially frozen in boxes strewn across the landscape.
Yeah, and we see more ice cracking. We see some still half-buried xenomorphs. This is the site where that crane fell in that unearthed them all, right?
Yep.
And that shit's still happening there.
And then we cut back to the keg and we get exactly the opposite of the snow and ice strewn landscape, because at the keg, everything is on fucking fire.
That's right. They blew it up, right? It was when
They sure did.
When the Marine got when the ape trooper got chest bursted, right? The other ape trooper started firing and like did the thing that Ripley told everybody not to do in Aliens, and like it ruptured the tanks.
That's right.
And kaboom.
And so we see what's this guy's name? Wendell.
Wiener.
Wendell is the Wendell the Wiener.
Wiener
is the
Wiener Yutani.
Is the Wayland Yutani guy that's interrogating I think Batya's the mom,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yes. And so he freaks out and leaves.
Yeah. I'll be back in a moment, Dr. Zahn. Right, because he's trying to strike a deal. Like she was trying to strike a deal to get her family off the planet with Wayland Yutani, and then when she started talking with this guy, she started withholding information, and he's like, "I know you know more about these than you're letting on." Blah blah blah. Right. So.
And then he runs into an ape trooper out front who's on the radio, and we cut to another couple of ape troopers in like the bowels of the keg underneath. Yeah. And one of them is extremely fucked up.
These are the ones that were caught in the explosion, specifically with the chest burster. Interesting, this one ape trooper, his pulse rifle says 98 rounds, suggesting he's shot one. I think. I don't know. Maybe it is a 98 round magazine.
Yeah, who knows? But the two ape troopers run into one of the researchers, right, I believe.
So we got James and Earl is gone. Earl is the one who got chest bursted. This is Harrison.
The one that is extremely messed up and wounded is Harrison.
This splash page, the fiery hallway and everything, very cool looking. The splash page is the wrong term. This large panel.
Yeah.
How about that? And I think this guy with the hat, the one who came in to join him, was one of the he's the medic, I guess. He's got a first aid kit. I thought he might be one of the communication techs that we saw.
I thought he was too, honestly.
Because they we learned in issue 2 that all of the different Wayland Yutani like committees, like all the different teams, none of them worked together, right? They were all just kind of like, fuck what the other people are doing. We're doing this, and it's, it's a wonder why all their plans always go horrible.
So, they mentioned that something attacked them and they just barely managed to escape. One of them says he's going to go back in. There's, as we already saw, there's a whole bunch of other fires all around the base.
Yes.
A Seattle is dead.
And Mo is burned pretty badly.
Yeah, whoever Mo is. Maybe they're talking about Harrison. Maybe they're the same person. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think these are other people. Who's this guy now?
This might be Harrison, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, this is Harrison, but like, where's he coming from out of nowhere? His face is all burnt and scarred up, and he's like, I'm your backup. Tape up my face, Doc. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's pretty messed up. That's for sure.
Not enough tape on this moon to hold that mug together. Ayo. Be a sick burn if the guy wasn't already sickly burned.
James heads out to go find some weapons from a locker they saw.
Yeah.
They once again call Wendell a creep. That is not the first time that's happened so far in this comic.
I like to see the Weyland-Yutani employees also hate the higher ups.
Oh, and then we see
He says he wants the specimens captured, not killed. Of course,
Yeah,
that's what Wendell wants.
Weyland-Yutani classic move.
That dude's face is.
All right, and then as he points out, if Wendell wants that thing alive, he can fucking come down here and get it himself.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
I like this guy. I like Harrison. I got just a little side note here. Are you familiar with comics artist Dan Hipp?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, a lot of people may recognize his work from Teen Titans Go. He does he does the backgrounds specifically.
All right.
But he did this fantastic series. It was a 3-volume series called Gyakushu.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, this art is very similar, a very similar style to his. And that's a compliment to all parties involved. Okay. It's not like this is a copycat, but like I can see like just in terms of like the shape of the people and the detail on the faces and things. In fact, that's what I was about to comment about when we were looking at that panel of the burning hallway. But more specifically, the main character in Gyakushu is somebody who was badly burned and has wrapped his entire body in bandages. So I'm getting like real Gyakushu vibes from this. And that also became the basis for, this is a little side story, not the basis for, but my D&D character got horrifically burned, like in the campaign. My DM does catastrophic injuries if certain things happen.
I'm familiar with that table. Don't worry.
And so I got badly burned all over my body. And instead of doing anything to try to fix it or heal it, my character just embraced it and wrapped himself in bandages as a reference to Gyakushu also. So a lot of stuff coming together for me. Why do these guns only have 95 rounds, though?
Maybe they weren't full clips.
They got to top these off. Let's find that little piece of shit and blow it to Kingdom Come. Harrison, I'm here for you.
The three of them head off into the flames to go find Wendell or the Xenomorph or whoever the subject it is of who it is they're talking about right now. And then it cuts back to Batya just like by herself in the interrogation room, feeling sorry for herself. Yeah. And then suddenly the vent opens above her and Zara, is that her name?
Zasha.
Her daughter, Zasha. Yeah. Zasha is in the vent talking to her from above.
I like this because, I mean, she's feeling sorry for herself, but she's also trying to think of a way out of this, right? I mean, she knows she screwed up because she alerted Weyland-Yutani to the samples, or she alerted Talbot Engineering to the samples, which Weyland-Yutani picked up on. She kind of made this mess. She did kind of make this mess, right? And like she was thinking she could strike a deal. It became very apparent to her that nope, this isn't going to go the way that she wants it to, right? Mm-hmm. So like I'm glad she had that realization because I was pretty frustrated at her character in the first issue when she was just so ready to make a deal. You know, it's like, have you not read an Alien story before? Come on. I like that she recognizes, and I think we saw parts of that in issue 2 where she was like not wanting to cooperate with Wendell like super hard. She was trying to like conceal certain things.
Yeah.
But I'm also glad that Zosh is now getting out of the vents, hopefully.
But yeah, after that, we cut back to the spot where the two, I can't remember what the term they use for them in here, but they're basically the crawlers with the open tops.
Yeah, we could probably just call them trucks.
Sure. We cut back to the two trucks where it had the big accident last time where they got attacked by a xenomorph and then blown up. And it cuts back to there, and we see one of the trucks flipped over with a dead xenomorph next to it, and then the ice starts cracking all around it.
Yeah, dude.
And breaking real hard, and it looks like the cracks are headed towards where the Boreas is parked.
Yeah, the USCSS Boreas 10251979.
And then it cuts to Dayton, who just beat the shit out of his guard that he had, and he has managed to escape.
Back. Dude, remember, this was the guy who was like, I could handle that asshole with one hand tied behind my back. And now Dayton's got this guy laid out, and he's quoting him like, could handle that asshole with one hand tied behind my back, huh? Doesn't look like it from here, dickhead. Hell yeah. This is the best panel in the book so far.
He's running around up and down through the hallways trying to find something that we have not yet been told what it is until he finally comes across the communications computer.
Hell yeah.
And he's trying to pick up Zasha on it.
Please have your walkie on you. I like how he calls her Zash. Zasha's not short enough. He's got to give her a nickname.
And
so do you think, so he's running down the hallway and we got A12, we got A13. Do you think this is section A14 that this is in?
Probably. I mean,
it's canon.
Seems reasonable to me.
Put it on the wiki.
Yeah. And it cuts back to Zasha and Batya points out that due to being pregnant, she cannot escape the same way Zasha came in.
Right. No more vents.
So Zasha says, it's fine, though. There isn't anyone outside. And they lay out their plan to head to her lab.
Yeah. Good things.
Oh, and
there's a fire.
We also find out that Zasha... It says here, I took that specimen like you asked. But so that was actually Batya's idea for Zasha to take the facehugger with her.
Wow. So do you think she doesn't really know what it is? Because she knows what it is, right?
Yeah, she probably does.
She knew about Project Alpha, etc. But yeah, confirmation. Hey, it thawed out so fast. Hey, yo.
And she says we still need to go there to get some samples that are there. And while they're working on the doors, Zasha hears Dayton contacting her from the walkie-talkie in her bag.
Nice. But there's also another face hugger in it. And no, just kidding.
Yeah, that does not happen. I mean, it might in the future, but it hasn't yet. And then it cuts back to Wendell, and he's running down the hallway talking to one of the comms guys. Yeah. And the dude's just filling him in on what the hell's been going on the base and all the fires and that. Excavation
crew's gone silent. So the comms guys are finally online and finally understand what's going on. Right up. Excavation squad's done. A whole bunch of bodies from the Boreas.
And
oh, no, sorry. He's just saying we brought more people off the Boreas onto the installation. Not like there's actual bodies. He's meaning his personnel. Okay.
And we also find out that one of the guys there in the room with them was guarding the lab, trying to open the lab door. And he got the door open, but then was reassigned somewhere else, which is bad because we then cut to the door he was trying to open in the lab, and it's filled with resin, and a bunch of face huggers are running out of it.
Oh, yeah, that does look resiny, doesn't it?
Uh-oh.
I see one. There may just be the one face hugger.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
There's a few more pages. All right, so Dayton and Zasha are now connected via intercom or radio.
Mm-hmm. And Dayton says that he's still on the ship, but he is able to get it airborne. And he says, you guys come to this ship. This is how we'll escape.
Dude, they're going to pull an us and steal a USCSS cruiser. So it can be flown with just a couple of people. It says there's only one person left on board. Wow, they really emptied that place up. So those are the personnel that the comms guy was saying. Yeah, we called everyone off the Boreas to help with this fire.
And that one guy might be the dude he knocked unconscious in his cell. That might be who he's talking about.
Could be. Zasha or Batya says she can't go yet because she can't leave the base.
She has to go. Yeah, she has to go to the lab.
And he's like, man, the whole base is on fire. Their Weyland-Yutani are crawling everywhere. Who's the real monster? Am I right, people?
Yeah, she says that she has to go to the lab because if they don't, then basically Weyland-Yutani will be able to fuck them via like the court system and stuff like that. They need stuff in the lab to protect themselves.
Yeah,
and so stall them. And Dayton's like, you got it.
He says, God damn it. He doesn't say you got it. Are you reading like a censored version of the comic?
No, I'm paraphrasing.
He's giving her 15 minutes.
Because there's no point in me giving all of the exact quotes of the comic because we want people to read it themselves, Neal.
That's why. Come on. I know. That's why this is also dropping like a week after the issue was released,
true.
but I don't know. Like, he's not like enthusiastic about this plan. I just want to make that clear. Like, he's like, fine, if I have to, hurry up. You got 15 minutes. And we know she's going after samples, right? She's going after samples of the face hugger or whatever else they found, or stuff that she has that we don't even know that she has yet. Meanwhile, I guess on the Boreas, the pilot's looking out the window and says, "Sweet Jesus," which is, I think, our second Jesus in this comic series.
And then this pilot fucking gets his skull caved in by Dayton holding a big wrench.
The keg is living up to its name. It's blowing up. What a bloody mess. They're just talking to themselves in there. Like, I know they got a headset on, but like, they're just talking to themselves.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
There's
then
nothing wrong with that.
Dayton with his wrench. Yeah, dude. Wild blood splatter on that
And
viewing
then
window.
let's see, they pack up as much stuff as they can, and there's a little water bird in the foreground there.
All right, we got another water bird. I also want to say it looks like on the Boreas, the cargo ramp. I should really learn the terms of the ships, right? Is not.
It's fine.
It doesn't look like it's drawn as if it's closing. It's drawn as if it's stuck open to me.
All right.
Just
yeah,
that
that's
might
fair.
be an important detail.
It probably is, because we still have 2 issues to go.
I mean, they gave a whole panel to it, so.
Well, I mean, my rationalization is we still have 2 issues to go, and they're getting off the planet now. So what else would happen in the next 2 issues?
I guess he could be opening it for them to board, but they're not there yet. Although I guess, yeah, they've gotten most of the samples, and it is all files she's taping up, taping closed, right?
But yeah, she's grabbing all the files and all the samples and such and loading everything up.
And then
they head out.
What the hell is she doing?
And as they're heading out, it seems like she has some kind of contraction or a really bad cramp or something like that.
Yeah, what is this device she's holding up to her belly? Because I don't think we've mentioned it on this episode. Batya is pregnant, everyone.
Well, I did mention it earlier as it being the reason why she couldn't get out of the vent.
That's right. Of course you did. But yeah. Yeah, she's not doing so great. So like in the lab, she held something up to her belly, and I'm wondering if that was a painkiller or if she was taking a reading or something. I don't recognize the device, you know?
Well, I mean, whatever it is, if it's narratively relevant, it hasn't become relevant yet. So
it seems
we're not given any information about it. So who knows?
Right. Well, the information we're given is that Zasha seems surprised that she's doing it. She says, "Mom, what are you doing?" And Batya says, "What I have to, honey. What I have to." So. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, as they're fleeing, she has some kind of a cramp or maybe a contraction or something. And then it cuts back to the 3 ape soldiers that we saw earlier, James and Harrison. And I don't remember what the third guy's name is, or maybe I never knew it. I don't know.
I'm not sure he's been named.
But anyway, they're adventuring around through the hallways, and they're on fire, and there's a bunch of exposed wiring and stuff.
They're in like
they're in
like casual ape suits now. They're not like big bulky ape suits. It's like a casual, like an ape suit inspired sweater.
And Harrison describes what they're looking for as basically a big slug. So I guess they're not yet aware these things can molt and change.
This is great. You see anything like that, that's probably what we're looking for. And James says, okay, no need to bite my face. And then he stops because he remembers the face hugger. He's going to say, don't need to bite my face off. That's pretty funny.
And then as they're looking around, I believe it's James.
Yeah.
Turns around and looks at some scaffolding, and there is a gigantic full-grown xenomorph sitting on there looking at him. And he's like, oh no. And then he gets fucking killed by it.
Probably going to be the thumbnail art, just so everybody knows. But look at the detail on this Xeno. Look at the end of its tail. Like, obviously, we see the color variation that they were talking about with the chest burster now. It's got kind of like a white tail, and the ribs are a lighter color. But look at the tail. It doesn't have the spike. It almost looks like a flipper.
Almost, yeah.
And the skull on the back, has like these bumps on the head.
Yeah, it's bumpy, but not ridged like they were in the second movie.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's just bumpy.
It's, studded for her pleasure.
That's right.
All right. I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone. Sorry I said that.
Like I said, it fucking kills James.
That tail's still sharp. Yeah. Tail cuts right through
And
him.
then the other two start unloading on the Xenomorph, and it runs away, dragging James's body with it.
Look at the line of spikes on the tail as well. This is like fish-like, right?
Yeah,
It
sure
looks like
is.
it's got some scales maybe on the torso, the lower torso a little bit.
Yeah, remember how a couple Thaw episodes ago when I said that I was guessing the explanation for how everything got frozen was that like this wasn't an ice planet, it
Yeah.
was a water planet that got frozen. I'm guessing like the fact that this is explicitly fish-like is leading me to believe that might be what's going on.
That's wild. I guess this explains why the face huggers are also a slightly different color, right?
Yeah.
Because that was definitely something we commented on too. And then, we thought it was coloring decisions with the chest burster or whatever. But now, yeah, this is clearly, this one in particular is different from the other ones that we've seen so far. So they're derived from whatever variation of ovomorph they found or face hugger they found. Anyway, look at these two. Now here's two people, Batya and Zasha, who did not forget their jackets.
Batya kind of implies that she might be sick or injured or that there's something wrong with her because she mentions that she needs to be treated but doesn't say how or why.
Yeah.
But Dayton sees them coming, and just as that happens, the ice under the ship starts to crack.
Yeah.
And it falls
Holy
into
shit.
the ice.
The whole fucking giant ship.
Yeah.
Cracked.
Right as the two of them are standing there watching.
Oh my God.
And then they have to turn and flee because the ship is going to collapse on top of them.
They run. They got to run back into the keg. They make it, but Dayton goes under the ice.
And then it cuts back to the other two ape soldiers who are hunting down that weird looking fishy Xenomorph.
Blowing that fucker away.
Yeah, they're fucking blowing it away and marveling at the acid blood.
Yeah.
So
this is not something they've encountered before, clearly. Let's take a proper look at this thing.
And then we see a cool shot of this thing partially ripped open and its organs spilling out and all that. And that looks pretty fucking badass.
Dude.
That's pretty fucking sweet.
Whoa.
It looks like the dome on the front of its face got shattered because, like, you can see its brain coming out and all that.
Yeah, it's like I got
Hell yeah.
fatalityed in Mortal Kombat 10.
And then we see a shot underwater of the Boreas just landing on the bottom of this crater.
That's wild. And we see Dayton sitting inside.
Yep.
With the pilot with the caved in head and the wrench.
And then Dayton looks out the window and sees dozens and dozens more of xenomorphs crawling up the side of the now big open cavern up towards the surface.
Although from the ocean, we're going to call it a sea now, right? Like the
Yeah,
sea has been
pretty
broken
much.
open.
Yeah, and they're crawling up towards land, and he laments the fact that he wasn't able to save anyone. And then, folks, to be continued.
He says, I can't save anyone. Important note, the Xenos we see underwater are your standard issue, seemingly.
They are,
XX121s.
Yep.
These aren't fishy looking dudes.
Yeah, they don't have the spikes, they don't have the bumps, they don't have like a fish tail on the end instead of a spike, you know? Yeah. They're just regular normal Xenos.
Now, I'm going to make a prediction for issue 4,
Mhm.
which is that they get the ship out of there and get into space. Because the cover for issue 4 looks like it depicts a ship in space.
Yeah, there is a ship seemingly in space because like the jet engines are blasting and stuff, but there's a whole bunch of Xenos. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them crawling around on the outside of the ship while it's flying.
And they may be underwater still. I mean, right? We don't know.
Yeah,
but
could be.
It looks very space-like, and this is pretty cool, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we were talking early, probably talking in issue 2. Actually, it's still early, right? We're right smack dab in the middle of this story arc now. that I really wanted them to use the environment more. Well, guess what?
Well, it's looking like they might not be doing that anymore, though, if the
Oh.
next one is going to be in space.
What I'm saying is that they did that now. Like, yeah, there's a lot of interior shots here, but they've like changed the topography of this planet with the ice cracking and the ship falling under the water. And now, xenomorphs crawling out from the depths. It's just, they are using the ice planet to its fullest, in my opinion, so far, right? Like, really cranking it up. And it's very cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I had a good time.
Yeah. So if you didn't have to finish this series for the podcast, would you keep going after issue 3?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I can't imagine why I wouldn't. It's one of those things where I'm like, all right, well, the situation they're currently in right now is clearly not the end of the story because I still have 2 issues left. But like, that ship is fucking underwater. How are they going to get it out?
Yeah, that's wild because it's a frozen, like the water is still freezing cold, even if it's not frozen, right? So like, this isn't something he's going to be able to just like swim up there, and certainly can't swim up there with all of those Xenos out there. Plus, then what happens when they get up there? There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There's no way off the planet. So this is this is getting tense, and I'm really into it. I also like that we've got these like, well, I guess now 2 Wayland officers trying to hunt this thing down and are like, fuck the orders. We're gonna kill this thing, right?
They certainly are doing that, yes.
They seem like good characters. I don't know. They're interesting characters. And again, I like that it's not Marines, right?
It certainly isn't. That's true. You've got me there.
Harrison definitely seems like he's got military background, right? And, pardon me for not knowing. Like, I know that Wayland has security officers and they probably have their own, like, military and stuff too, right? So, like, he may have formal training or just be some kind of an officer, but he's kind of a badass. I'm looking for the name of the medic because it's Harrison and the medic.
They probably did give it to us, but I don't remember what it was which leads me to believe they must not have said it more than maybe once or twice. So
yeah, I'm looking back at those panels. He just calls him Doc. Maybe they just call him Doc.
Yeah, yep. I don't know.
Calls him Doc twice. So this guy doesn't get a name. What if his name is Doc?
Could be.
And he's like, he's like, that's why. Like, do you think he was named Doc at birth or changed his name when he became a medic?
I haven't thought about it enough to have a strong opinion either way.
Like his birth name was like Dockin.
Dockin, huh?
Yeah, I knew a Dockin once.
I mean, I know the band Dockin, so.
Yeah, there's also that, but this was just like a guy I knew.
I mean, well, to be fair, Dockin was named after a member of the band, but Dockin was his last name, not his first name. So.
Right. I wonder if this guy I knew was named after the band.
Could be. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, we're not going to get to the bottom of this today.
We sure aren't. That is correct.
So I'm looking forward to more. Let's get back on topic here. I'm looking forward to these Wayland guys who are inside the keg now catching up with Batya and Zasha also in the keg, right? And whatever rescue plan they're going to put together.
I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to it because they're in the comic and they're going around and kicking ass, but it's like, it's one of those things where like they work for Wayland Yutani. So as far as I'm concerned, fuck them.
They'll work for Wayland Yutani, but at this point they're not working for Wayland Yutani, right? At this point, they're like,
that's true.
They're like, we're going to get rid of these samples. I don't think they're going to be dicks to Batya and Zasha, right? Because like, let's remember the Marines in Aliens were technically working for Wayland Yutani, right? They were contracted.
True.
So, I don't know. We don't know this guy's deal.
I mean, I'm operating under the assumption that both of them are going to be dead by the time the comic is over. So
I think it's likely, but I think that they're showing Zasha as having some kind of issue with the pregnancy right now. We're not clear what it is.
Yeah.
And then we have a doc out there too, right? There's a doctor.
We sure do.
That just seems intentional. Seems intentional to me. Seems like that's going to come together nicely.
That's probably a good guess. Yeah.
But we've also got another facehugger loose inside the keg. And who knows what Wendell is doing? You think Wendell's going to get it with a face hugger, or you think he's going to get it with whatever comes out of the chest burster, or the chest burster that comes out of this face hugger when it grows up? You think he's going to die by Xenomorph or by face hugger, I guess?
Probably face hugger. My guess is that he's going to get face hugged and then die, and then that chest burster / Xenomorph ends up on the ship with them when they take off.
What if he gets face hugged and then freezes himself to send himself back to Weyland-Yutani as the specimen that will then become Alpha?
That is possible.
I'm calling it now. Or Dayton. It's going to be one of the two. And I know there's already a Project Alpha folder on her desk, right? But we don't know what that means at this point. Project Alpha may just be the mission to get a specimen, right?
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, it's just purely theoretical. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all the speculation I've got for this. So far, good comic. I'm really enjoying this series. Yeah,
I'm liking it too.
This does feel very Alien/Aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were both, I think, pretty up on Icarus.
Yeah.
Even like all said and done, like we may have felt like it didn't completely stick the landing, but it had a really great set pieces, fun characters, a cool premise. I'm liking this better so far. What about you?
I do like how it's not as actiony as Icarus was. Icarus was a lot more explicitly an action comic than a lot more so of one than this is, which I do appreciate. I'm liking the vibe of this one more just because, as I've gone on record before, I like Alien more than I like Aliens.
Yes.
So.
Same here. It's closer for me, right? But same here.
Yeah, because like the fact that all these like dozens of Xenomorphs are hanging around, it's like we've still only ever seen like one or two of them at a time for the most part.
Yeah.
Like when someone gets attacked, they get attacked by one. They don't get attacked by 9, you know?
I guess the exception may be the truck scene. There were a couple there, but they were still attacking like one truck at a time, right?
Yeah.
And it's like one got into the bed and just ate everybody. And then we saw the rest of it unfold from far away, just in scenes of, like through the windows of the keg, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the way that this story is unfolding. The art is very strong, consistently been good throughout the whole book. And I'm really into this new Xenomorph that we're seeing here. It's
the fishy guy.
The fishy guy. I like it. I think obviously we've talked about Crushers multiple times on this show. We had the glow in the dark Xenomorph. That was weird, right? I like when I think I like it more when it's just kind of the same structure that we're sort of used to, but with a variant like this has, or kind of like the hybrids from the Gibson comic.
Yeah.
Where they still looked like Xenomorphs, but there was just some different shit about them.
I love the hybrids so much. Those guys rule.
With the skull heads and everything.
I love them.
Yeah, so I like those sorts of variants. I mean, I like the bold ones too. Don't get me wrong, but just as kind of a standard sort of deviation of what we're used to. I think the subtle changes really stand out. And yeah, I'm glad they're playing with that idea. I hope to see more of that, honestly, but like less glow in the darky versions.
I scrolled back to see back to the panel of like where it depicts like the dead fishy one, and it's like now that I'm looking at it in finer detail, it's got like rows of spikes on it. It has what's clearly a fishtail. It has spots on its arms where they're clearly like fish scales. Yeah, this thing looks fucking rad, man.
I'm into it.
Yeah, it looks cool as hell.
I've decided that is not the dead one. That's a little gruesome, but the reveal of the thing, that's going to be the thumbnail art. Until we get a cease and desist from Disney and have to default back to the standard art. Leave us alone, Disney, please.
We can't afford to go to fucking court.
We're out here genuinely trying to sell these Marvel books for you.
Yeah. How many times so far in this issue alone have we said, get your own issue and read along with us?
Well, at least twice now.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times. Yeah, man, I'm excited for the next issue. But before that comes out, we're going to have to cover a couple other things. I think up next on the docket is the 1996 first-person shooter video game Alien Trilogy.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan.
That is the plan. A game based on the first 3 movies, but radically changing the way those events unfold.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spoil a little bit for you now. It all takes place on LV-426, so Fury 161 is just a prison attached to the colony. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a fun game, available on PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, and MS-DOS if you're interested.
Ooh, baby.
Do I have all 3 versions of that? Yes, I do.
When you said, do I have all 3 versions of that? I started nodding before you even said yes.
I have a trilogy of Alien trilogies. And we're going to be playing one of them at some point on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.com/@crewexpendable. We'll play that live, and then the archive video will be there as well for you to watch. Don't have a date set for that yet. I keep wanting to call my shot, but then things happen that would make me have to cancel it. So just make sure you follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/@crewexpendable again. So you get notified of that live when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny, where else can people find us on the internet?
Our website is crewexpendable.net. Our Instagram handle is @crewexpendablepod. Our Twitter handle is @crewexpendapod, and you can send us an email at mother@crewexpendable.net.
And if you're worried about those Twitter tweet view limits, don't worry. We don't tweet a lot. We won't clog up your feed.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We'll announce new episodes and when that YouTube live happens over there. So follow us there. And on Instagram too. We're going to post it on Instagram as well, of course. Kenny, where can people find you on the internet?
My handle is @CYHOBBEZ. Pretty much anywhere. If you go onto a random social media site and go, I wonder if Kenny is on here, search for me using that handle, because that's the one I use for everything. I'm not on everything, but all the ones that I am on, that's what I use.
Still doing Letterboxd?
I am, yes. I actually just updated it a day or 2 ago.
Yeah. Look them up on Letterboxd. And Goodreads?
I am not on Goodreads. No, not anymore.
Okay. What happened there?
Oh, I started, well, what happened there is I started logging a book, and then I never remembered to finish logging the book when I was done with it. And then 2 months later, I hadn't even read any more books yet. And so I'm like, all right, this clearly isn't going to happen. So I just deleted my account.
There you go. Get your shit together, Goodreads. I don't know.
Yeah, turns out I'm not reading enough books to warrant or qualify having a Goodreads account. So,
all right. Well, Letterboxd.
You
can follow me on Instagram @FinalNealRetro, and on Good Pods, the Good Pods app @FinalNeal. Follow me on there. Rate and review the show everywhere you can. Check out my other podcast, MK Podquest. While new episodes are still coming out, mkpodquest.com. I think the next episode that will be in the feed is about a little terrible movie called Poison Ivy 3, The New Seduction.
Oh, you got him to watch it, huh?
I did. Normally, it's a Mortal Kombat media podcast, but if you listen to that episode, you'll understand why it was included. And that's all, folks. So, we'll be back to talk Alien Trilogy soon and to play Alien Trilogy live on YouTube. So until then, stay frosty.